much. It's a pleasure to be here to join all of these distinguished folks who have been working on housing for, in some cases, decades. And we very much appreciate that. And on behalf of the organization, thank you for being here. A couple of comments and observations. One is, for those of you that are going to the Assembly, going to the state legislature, a couple of observations. One is that the planning for all of this stuff goes from the bottom up, and the money for all this stuff goes from the top down. And what we have done in this community, whether it's in our 4 wonderful cities or in the unincorporated area for a long time, is that we've put one foot in front of the other saying, well, there's a state requirement for a certified housing element of our general plan, so we go ahead and we do that. We then match up the zoning and the general plan in such a way that we can make an argument to the state that the regional housing needs allocation that they give to us for very low and low income, we have in fact found specific places where that can all happen, and that's all well and good. So the local government has in effect met their legal obligation to get the stage set. But when you talk to Jane Barr and when you talk to other folks who are in either the for-profit housing world trying to build some portion of it as affordable housing, or you talk to Jane Barr and others here who are involved in the actual nonprofit side of building affordable housing, or you're one of these lovely mayors who have been here and they say how committed they are, what you hear at the end of all of that is, we're ready, we're willing, we're able. In fact, there's probably not an elected official here or a candidate here who did not say in their campaign, gee, I'm going to work on affordable housing and homelessness. Every single candidate does that. Every single elected official in our community has done that. And I believe them. I think they are earnest about that. But they don't print money with their picture on it. And as a consequence, we are at the mercy of some number of strangers, and then not strangers like our assembly member, our state senator. We rely on them to help us get the money from Sacramento. Now, what you oftentimes hear, and I suspect everybody here has heard it, is we would love to do this project, but it doesn't pencil out. My buddy John Swift, who's back here, has filled my ear over the years with a long litany of actions that could be taken locally to try to make that more possible just functionally and operationally. But even John would admit, where's the money to close the gap to make these things happen? And I think that in addition to all the work we do, all the work you do, whether that is in a city, in a nonprofit, in your own heart helping your neighbors, joining this organization and making a contribution, what we know is that it's still quite a bit short. We can be as good as we can possibly be at advocating for every site, for every density bonus, for every tax credit, for everything on this. And what we will do at the pace we're on now is we will not get to goal. And so what we need to do, it seems to me, in addition to thank you for your support for Housing Santa Cruz County as our ongoing venue for advocating for as much very low and low income housing as we can, we need a big time partner. And I will just share a thought with you, especially those of you who are seeking to go to the legislature, and our state senator, John Laird, who's in the legislature. And let's not forget, Mark Stone didn't somehow disappear off the face of the earth. He's our assembly member. He's going to be our assembly member till the end of the year. And he gets to vote on a state budget and thousands of bills between now and the end of the session. And I would make this observation, that I don't mean to be argumentative with the President Pro Tem of the Senate. They had $30 billion surplus last year, over and above everything they possibly wanted to be able to fulfill the budget. they're going to have a $50 or $60 billion budget surplus when the May revise comes out next week from the governor's office and the Department of Finance. And I think that it's a fair question to ask every legislator and the governor, since you spent 90% of your time running for office saying you're going to fix this problem of housing affordability and the scourge and the stain on our state's soul of having hundreds of thousands of people homeless in this state, and you said that was your priority, then here's your budget chance to do that. Not $3 billion, not $4 or $5 billion. That is not going to do it. But put that money in there, and then on the June ballot, put a $25 billion affordable housing bond for low and very low income housing. And 5 years from now, do it again. Because $25 billion isn't going to solve the problem. If you took every RENA allocation in the state of California for low and very low income housing, you are going to need $50 billion in public subsidy to close the gap. And if you're not serious about it, about doing that, then stop talking about it. Because it's not true. You don't mean it. If we really mean it in the state of California, we will insist that our state legislators and our governor who is running for re-election, that they in fact stand up and put that on the table. Why would we do this? Why would we do this? We do this because a general obligation bond issue approved by the voters of the state of California, listen to this next phrase, does not raise taxes. It is the obligation of the state general fund in putting the budget together to take care of the state's general obligation debt as the very first thing you do in putting the budget together. California is not debt burdened in the budget. It is not. We have plenty of capacity to be able to pass general obligation bonds and do the thing that every elected official, every candidate, everybody in this room says needs to be done. So my sense is, thank you for being part of this. Add our voices to Sacramento and get this part done. With your support for this organization, hopefully you will write a little bit more, help this organization out. We are the widest, deepest coalition ever been assembled in this county for affordable housing. Let's get focused on very low and low income housing. Let's get the state in as a huge partner in this deal. God love you and thank you very much.